I am Charlotte again and again. So for today's vlog, I am going to tackle about my semestral project in GFD312. First, let me introduce the subject Basic Clothing Production. In this subject, we have discussed many things about the textile, clothing, retailing, and most especially the fashion industry. It also tackles about garment production, which we find as an organized activity consisting of sequential processes such as laying, marking, cutting, stitching, checking, finishing, and packaging. This is a process of converting raw materials into finished products. Moreover, one of the lessons in this subject tackles about different manufacturing companies that are using eco-friendly materials, because it also tackles in this subject about the ethical issues which has a bad contribution about our health and environment. But before saying everything I know, let's go first about what are the basic production layout. We have 4 main layout categories such as process, product, hybrid, and fixed position layout. I chose product layout because it refers to a production system where the workstations and equipments are located along the line of production. As with assembly lines, the total work to be performed must be divisible into 2 small tasks that can be assigned to each of the workstations. I think that it will be convenient to all people or to all the employees in the company to have this kind of layout. I also think that they can be productive every time they work, and especially they will not get stressed because production layout offers a divided small tasks which help every employees to work effectively and can lead to a higher rate of production. Next one, my professor said indicate the activities I have given to you in the subject and provide a minute of explanation. As I browse on my Google's classroom, we have done 8 activities already. The activities that our professor gave helps me to learn even more. Even though now that we are in online classes, she helps us to gain knowledge effectively. She does give us activities that will surely help each of us as students to have a deeper understanding about the lessons that we have discussed. The following discussion is just some of those activities that we have done. On our first activity, my professor gave us an opportunity to say our own opinion about the topic that we have discussed, the fashion basics. The fashion basics is so important to us. Color of our clothes should be taken into consideration, such as how intensive it was, and the value and hue should also present in our clothes. Elements of art is also so important in fashion basics. Lines can give patterns or designs in our clothes. The texture of the textile that was used must achieve the people's preference or taste so that they can have a comfortable feeling while wearing these clothes. On the second activity, we take video to ourselves based on what we understood about the video that our professor provided. It is about the brief history of clothing, which was originated at 500,000 years ago. It emphasizes how important clothing is in our lives. Because of it, after many years, it continuously evolved, and many textiles and clothes were invented, and now the clothing industry has a big impact to our lives. On activity 3, she also asked us about what do we think are the ways to improve productivity in garment production. For me, enable for us to have a successful business and quality products, we need to know the different ways on how to improve the productivity in garments production. First, I believe that being a good employer to my employee is the most important and can be a foundation for success. It is because I learned from this subject that one of those high-quality manufacturers in the world are focused on their laborers. We agree from what system they have, because I believe that having a friendly and away from pressure working environment can enhance their productivity to do even better. And the fourth activity, our professor wants to give us an example of poor layout. So because of that, I scrolled to the internet and I saw this sample as a poor layout. I think that this is a sample of poor layout because it gives us insufficient space for workers. As a worker, they need a right amount of space in able to move faster and comfortably. Because of this, I can see that it can lead defects in garment production. Workers cannot be productive because of the little spaces they have. In this layout, they did not put machines for garment production, which is very important in doing quality and more quantity products. Poor planned production layouts often cause problems in the garment producing process. That is why it is so important to have a layout plan before you even start building a sewing or clothing company or industry or factory. On the fifth activity, I answered the question, if you have your own company clothing production, what ethical issues will you consider? So know that ethics is so essential recipe to have a positive and productive workplace. If ethics are present in a company, there is a high possibility that we can achieve fruitful success. Being an owner of a company is both an honor and responsibility. There are thousands of circumstances wherein I cannot have the capacity to control it. One of these is the ethical issues that can affect the success of my company. In dealing with this, I first need to know the different ethical issues. In that way, I can help to control it and make a way to resolve the problems. I want to give my heart about child labor. Yes, I do not want to have a youngster working in my company, but I want them to work while studying. I want to have a scholarship program for those students who are really in need of a scholarship and money to make living for his family. I know how it feels like to be a minor person who has already opened their eyes to reality and is eager to have a job to help their family. Allowing them to work in my company will help them to hone their skills and capabilities all about clothing. I am hoping that minors will consider this opportunity that I will give to them as a stepping stone to their success in the future. There are just some of those activities that mold me as a knowledgeable student in my professor's subject, GFD312. I am amazed on how my professor gives an opportunity to gain meaningful knowledge to us. So let's go to another question. It is said that as a student who studied this course, what do you think are the importance of knowing the ethical issues in fashion industry? As I let my brain to eat all the lessons in the subject, I feel like my thoughtful and responsible self immediately awakened. I learned that there are numerous ethical issues that we are facing in the fashion industry. Devastating. That's how I feel when I learned that this industry is the largest contributor to grow of this kind of problems. Child labor, environment degradation, animal cruelty. I just felt hopeless. However, as I am being aware about these issues, it triggers me to have an extra care to environment. I learned that having second-hand clothes is not bad, as long as I am not adding a problem to these issues. Preventing ethical issues is a must. Yes, that's right. We need to help our Mother Earth to recover from a drastic negative change that people have done. As a consumer, we must know our limitations in buying and using clothes. We must lower the demand so that the clothing industry will do the same. It's us who dictate the supplier or the clothing manufacturer to do this kind of issues. But it is also the clothing industry's mistake to overuse and abuse our Mother Earth. I hope that preventing ethical issues must be considered and must be decreased. Therefore, I conclude that this subject really helps every student, especially me, that I need to be a responsible buyer so that the clothing industry will do the same. Avoid doing ethical issues so that we can have a happy, meaningful, healthy, and colorful life with fashion industry. I want to give emphasis to you guys that this subject is so important, especially to us as a future fashion designer or as a future educators. I believe that this subject is indicated in our course because it is must to learn this. My major is garments and fashion design, which is all about how things works inside and outside the clothing, textile, and fashion industry. The use of the knowledge that and learnings from this subject, it can help me as a future educator or as a future designer to stand out and use it creatively to have incredible designs for fashion, clothing, textile, and retailing industry. After many sayings, I am confident that this subject will be my stepping stone to my future.